Here we are in Spain, all the cars revving up. And it's go, go, go! Hamilton gets off well. Raikkonen right behind him, trying to pass him. Vettel gets off to a horrendous start. There goes Bottas side by side with Vettel into turn one. Hamilton has the lead. Vettel looks like he's losing places, and down the inside goes Vettel on Bottas. Raikkonen takes P2. As Bottas and Vettel go side by side, round the outside goes Bottas on Vettel. Bottas side by side still. This is Alonso just like 2013. Now they're still side by side into the next corner. Down the inside goes Sebastian Vettel. On Valtteri Bottas, and Vettel makes it work. Well done, Seb. As the two Red Bulls going very close there. I think Verstappen's in front of Ricciardo, who goes very wide there, does Ricciardo. Then it's followed by Hulkenberg, I believe. As Alonso's just behind Perez, I believe. Yes, it is Perez, as we see Van Dorn way down here defending from Gasly. Followed by Charles Leclerc, who's very far down after a very strong race in, well, very strong speed in Baku, but of course he finished way down the field. Hamilton has the lead, I believe, over Kimi Räikkönen, followed by Vettel and then Bottas. So strong start from Hamilton here. And I've completely screwed it up. It is Vettel who's in P2. It's Kimi who is in P3. Kimi had the front row start. That is my bad, guys. So it is Vettel who's P2, followed by Kimi in P3, then Bottas in P4. Verstappen in 5th, followed by Danny Rick in 6th, who seems to be losing some time to the Renault of Nico Hulkenberg again, just like he did here. Here comes Nico Hulkenberg, and I don't know, he's actually a bit too far back to make a move on Ricciardo, but Ricciardo's really struggling for pace in the opening stages of this race on the heavy fuel. As the cars come flying by. See, Grosjean is in front of Magnussen. Of course, Grosjean and Verstappen had that incident in Baku, but that was Max's fault. And then it's Van Dorn, who's already losing tons of time to the cars in front. He's not doing too well, as he's got Gasly right behind him. And the Williams of Sirotkin dropping back from Stroll quite a lot there, as Hamilton continues to hold this lead. Hamilton was dominant in qualifying, but in the race here, Vettel is actually the one who seems to have the pace, because he's really quite close to Hamilton. Even Kimi seems to be closing up on him, while Bottas is losing a lot of time. Well, not too much time, but he is losing time to Kimi, as Verstappen and then Ricciardo seems like their gap is pretty steady between the two. Verstappen seems to have the slight pace advantage at the moment. As we continue in this race, following the midfield, let's see what happens here. Could be a crazy battle, possibly for 7th place, of course, and Alonso is much higher than his teammate there. As now we move forward here to the front, we can see actually Hamilton and Vettel go side by side. Sebastian Vettel goes around the outside of Hamilton. Hamilton and Vettel side by side. Sebastian Vettel take the lead of the race. And now here we are watching how Sebastian Vettel was able to make the move on Lewis Hamilton. Here he is with the DRS. Hamilton goes defensive. Vettel goes to the outside. Late on the brakes. Goes Sebastian Vettel around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner and just squeezes past Lewis Hamilton. Brilliant stuff from Sebastian Vettel to take the lead of the Spanish Grand Prix. There's Kimi close behind. Nico Hulkenberg holds his position in front of Sergio Perez and Fernando Alonso. As we see further back, the two Haases are still there, ready to pounce if they can, but as you can see, there's a bit of a train forming here. A bit of a midfield train forming here because of the nature of this track. It's just so difficult to overtake. Perez might have a chance at overtaking Hulkenberg, but it's going to be very difficult to get close to him in that final sector because of how good that Renault is through those medium and low speed corners, compared to the Force India, of course. As Danny Ricciardo looks like he's catching up to Valtteri Bottas and Max Verstappen. Looks like Hamilton and Seb slowed each other down so much they've created a train of the top 6. So yeah, a bit of a train here. Here comes Verstappen. He's still there. Hamilton's coming on Seb now, but he's a bit too far back. Vettel holds the lead of that race in that beautiful scarlet red Ferrari in front of the silver hour of the Mercedes. But here comes Sergio Perez round the outside. As I was saying, he just went for it with the straight line speed that Force India has. They are one of the quickest cars in the speed trap, and he absolutely went for it there round the outside of Nico Hulkenberg. Perez goes up into 7th place. And it has to be said, that's very impressive compared to where his teammate is at the moment. And also, based off some data that we've seen, the Force India is only the 6th fastest car on the grid. So that is very impressive to be up in 7th place in front of his former teammate Nico Hülkenberg. But anyways, further up the grid, it's still Vettel who holds the lead of the race from Hamilton, who's giving it everything. He wants to retake that lead of the race. And he wants to extend his lead in the championship. See Perez still in front of Hülkenberg. Holding it nicely. As you can see, Hülkenberg looks like he was really pushing through there. It looks like he might have lost the back end a little bit as Daniel Ricciardo touches the grass as they enter the chicane. Here comes Lewis Hamilton a bit too far back again, but Seb goes defensive. This battle for the lead is very interesting and will be even more interesting once strategy comes into play. You can see also the Renault catching up on the straight, but not quite enough. He's a bit too far back to make an overtake. And here comes Pierre Gasly down the inside of Stoffel Vandoorne. And great job from Gasly to get in front of him in the Toro Rosso, which I believe is a slower car, but it all depends, of course, on the track. As once again the Ferrari holding that lead in the race very nicely from Lewis Hamilton. Here they come flying through turn 9. Would love to see that in these 2018 F1 cars. Hamilton is closer now. He's much closer than he was last lap. Using the DRS to get even closer to Seb. Not quite an overtaking opportunity, but at least he can get nice and close to that Ferrari. And then try and get him on the straight. It will, of course, be a huge challenge to make an overtake here. Because, again, as I mentioned, the nature of this track, it's just so damn difficult to make any kinds of overtakes. But here we are, Pierre Gasly still in front of Vandoorne. Magnussen behind Grosjean. Perez, come on, straight. Here comes Hamilton on the back of Vettel. He is close to this lap. He goes to the outside, and he's in front before the braking zone. And he even brakes later than Seb for good measure. And there goes Lewis Hamilton around the outside of Sebastian Vettel to retake the lead of the race. Brilliant stuff from Lewis Hamilton. He was not happy to have lost that lead, and now he's retaken it. He's in the quicker car, or at least what we think to be the quicker car, at least what was the quicker car in qualifying. Question is, can he use that speed to his advantage? Charles Leclerc there in front of his teammate Marcus Ericsson, and Sergei Sorokin way down the grid. In last place as Hamilton takes the lead of the race and seems to be holding it quite nicely at the moment. Will Seb be able to get close and re-overtake Lewis? He did it once, but Lewis was really pushing now. He's really giving it everything he's got. Bottas has lost time to the two Red Bulls. It's allowed Verstappen and Ricciardo to really close up to him. And now he's going to come under threat from Max Verstappen onto the start-finish straight. But of course that Red Bull isn't very good in a straight line, so it could allow that Mercedes engine could allow Bottas to stay in front of them, as Hamilton is into the pits. Into the pits he goes with Vettel. So this is now down to the pit crews. Who's going to have the better pit stop? Is it going to be Vettel or is it going to be Hamilton? Who can do better? Mercedes versus Ferrari in the pits. And Mercedes released their car first. And Seb's been held a little bit there. Looks like Ferrari actually had a quicker pit stop, but they couldn't release the car in time. And it's meant Seb actually lost time to Lewis during the pit stop phase. That is horrible for him. And for any chance of trying to win this championship now, after some pretty horrendous races. As we can see, back to the lead. It is Kimi who's in the lead now, in front of Bottas, who's keeping that gap pretty steady, but he's steadily losing time to Kimi as the two Red Bulls are really closing up to Bottas. Red Bulls have shown some incredible tire wear and some incredible pace at the end of stints. As shown right now, at the end of their stint, they are absolutely flying. And Ricciardo seems to have really saved his tires at the early part of this race, because now he's able to really pound in the lap times. It looks like he might even be going even further into the race than Bottas and Kimi. Should mean he'll have completed over half the race on the super soft tire, I believe. And here comes Kimi through the final chicane, and I do believe he will be coming into the pits at the end of the lap, and there he is Into the pits goes Kimi. And as does Verstappen, but Ricciardo, as I suspected, has stayed out, and he's also got the DRS. This could give him a good opportunity at a possible overcut, because the others could get caught in traffic, and getting caught in traffic at this track is a big problem because of course, how difficult it is to overtake. But look at that! Hamilton has been caught in traffic. It's allowed Vettel to catch right up to the back of him. Here comes Sebastian Vettel on the back of Hamilton. Hamilton has the DRS. So does Seb. They're going to go side by side down the straight. Sebastian Vettel takes the lead of the race from Lewis Hamilton. Into the lead goes the Ferrari. Brilliant racing between these two four-time world champions. Of course, Lewis won his fourth back in 2017. As it looks like Bottas may have lost a bit of time to Kimi, as has Verstappen. As you can see now, the Haas has caught up to Carlos Sainz. Here in his home Grand Prix, he's not having the best home Grand Prix. It's not horrible, but he is behind his teammate Nico Hülkenberg. On the back of Sainz, still can't get in front of him. Ooh, Ricciardo's really giving it everything. He really wants to try and elongate this stint as much as possible. But he's going to have to really push if he wants to get in front, because now these guys, they're not in the traffic that he suspected they would be in, because now they are in clear air. They are flying on new tires, and he is still on the old set. Ricciardo's going to be pitting at the end of this lap. As look at that, Hülkenberg is really catching up to Perez. He's much quicker on these yellow soft tires, and it's allowing him to really get close, especially the higher downforce that the Renault has. And if I'm not mistaken, Fernando Alonso has been overtaken by both Haases. Yes, he has. Both Haases have gotten in front. And Marcus Ericsson has passed Charles Leclerc. That is unfortunate for Charles, who was in front of Ericsson earlier in this race. But anyways, Vettel continues to hold that lead. Looks like he may be pulling away from Hamilton a little bit. Question is, can he win this race, or will Lewis come back at him? Bottas continues to hold fourth place there off the podium after a very strong race in Baku, where he ended up winning the race. He's unfortunately only managed P4 at the moment in this race, although of course anything can happen in Formula 1. For Ricciardo's case, it seems like, as we saw before, he is some ways behind the others. It looks like he's lost a lot of time. As you can see as well, Romain Grosjean has overtaken Carlos Sainz on the start-finish straight, so Grosjean has made up some brilliant progress. He's overtaken Alonso and Sainz, two Renault-powered cars, and now he can go in pursuit of Nico Hülkenberg, because Hülkenberg is stuck behind Sergio Perez. As you can see, still stuck behind Perez. He just can't quite get in close enough because of that Renault power unit. Just doesn't have enough straight-line speed. But yeah, look at how close he is. He's really giving it everything now, Hülkenberg. He wants to get in front of his former teammate Sergio Perez. And as you can see further back, Van Dorn has lost time to Gasly, I believe, and Lance Stroll pulling away from Perez. Anyways, here comes Lewis Hamilton, again back for the lead of the race. Here he goes, Hamilton around the outside. Late on the brakes from Lewis Hamilton. Oh no, he locks up. Big lockup from Hamilton. In an attempt to overtake Vettel, he completely locked up. He just couldn't brake late enough. As he tried sending it around the outside, it just did not work out, and Hamilton has completely locked up, and now that's slowed his momentum down. It's allowed Kimi to catch up to him, and anyways, here goes Nico Hülkenberg round the outside of Sergio Perez, finally re-overtaking his former teammate after his former teammate caught him napping a few laps ago. And look at how quick that Renault is on the new tires. He's absolutely flying, and look at that. Sainz is also re-overtaken Grosjean, so that Renault is flying now at this part of the race. And here comes Charles Leclerc down the inside of Marcus Ericsson, and Leclerc gets in front of Ericsson. Brilliant stuff from Charles Leclerc to overtake his teammate after getting overtaken in the pits. Leclerc just goes for it, and has to be said, this race is offering much better racing than we expected because of the nature of this track. But anyways, Vettel is now pulling away from Hamilton because Hamilton's big lockup seems to have cost him a lot of momentum to Kimi now, because now Kimi's on the back of Hamilton. Kimi goes through the final chicane, accelerating onto the straight. If Hamilton has the DRS, Kimi's not going to be able to make the overtake, but if Hamilton doesn't have the DRS, and no, he doesn't, so that means that Kimi now has the opportunity to make this a Ferrari 1-2. Will he be able to do it? Here comes Raikkonen. Hamilton goes defensive, as he did with Vettel. Kimi goes to the outside. Hamilton's late on the brakes. Kimi's even later. Now around the outside, has the inside for the next corner. Kimi Raikkonen squeezes past Lewis Hamilton to take second place in the Spanish Grand Prix. Brilliant stuff from Kimi Raikkonen. Brilliant stuff from Sebastian Vettel to defend from Hamilton and allow his teammate to overtake him. And Bottas is just so far behind, he can't do anything to help Lewis. He's just been so off the pace all weekend. And now Alonso's trying to push and catch up to those asses after getting screwed in the pits. Or at least during the pit stop phase. And it looks like Sainz is actually catching up to Perez. But anyways, further up, looks like Bottas is still under pressure from Verstappen, but not enough pressure to really slow him down, as Ricciardo is trying to catch up to those two because he is much quicker than them. Here comes Hamilton, though. He is hungry to get back second place. But he's still a bit too far behind Kimi. If he can hold it close in that final sector, he will have a good run onto the start-finish straight. But as we've seen throughout this season, it seems like the Ferraris have won quicker in those low-speed corners, and the Mercedes has won quicker in the high-speed corners, which is a challenge if Hamilton wants to keep up in the final sector, because it is majority low-speed corners. As you can see, Hülkenberg isn't pulling away from Perez as much as we expected, but he is still pulling away. And Sainz has been flying ever since he got past Grosjean again. He's been flying, and now he's on the back of Perez. Perez is going to have the straight line speed because of the DRS, but here comes Max Verstappen on the back of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas locks up completely! Both Mercedes, looks like they might have problems with their brakes, because now it's allowed Daniel Ricciardo to catch up to him. Max Verstappen gets in front of him. Sergio Perez re-overtakes. Nico Hülkenberg, that Renault has just got no straight line speed, and now it looks like Carlos Sainz has caught up to the back of Nico Hülkenberg. It's incredible here in Spain. Way more battling than I expected, but anyways, here's Daniel Ricciardo. He's trying to get past Valtteri Bottas now. He's on the fresher tires that I believe are a lot fresher, and he's really giving it everything. Look at how close he is to Bottas. He actually goes onto the gravel there. He's giving it everything now. He wants to overtake Bottas. Here he goes flying through turn 9 now. Is he going to be able to get Bottas down the straight? We look further ahead. And down the inside goes Daniel Ricciardo with the DRS, with the late braking. And what a move from Ricciardo to overtake Bottas. They get up into 5th place, and now he's going to go in pursuit of his teammate. And loses the back end a little bit there, as Bottas might actually re-overtake him on the straight, so he's not in that fresh air yet, because he's still got Bottas. He loses the car a little bit as he goes very wide on the exit of the corner. Perez is still in front of Hülkenberg, and then followed by Carlos Sainz. Here comes Valtteri Bottas. That Red Bull has no straight line speed because he's already got him before even the pit exit. And now they go down the straight, and Ricciardo is still too far back to make any kind of overtake. He brakes a bit later, but he can't type on him because he's just a bit too far back. And now he has to do all that hard work again to Daniel Ricciardo, but once again he's on the better tire. Anyways, here comes Nico Hülkenberg round the outside of Sergio Perez. Who's going to be last late breakers? It's going to be Perez, because Hülkenberg completely locks up, and he's hit Sainz. He's hit his teammate, and he makes more contact with his teammate as his teammate goes into the side of him. Unbelievable stuff as the two Renaults go into each other. And here comes Kevin Magnussen round the outside. He's overtaking his teammate in the pits, and now he's overtaking Carlos Sainz. Incredible stuff as he just locked up, and here comes Daniel Ricciardo round the outside of Valtteri Bottas. It's a turn 9. Would you believe it? That's got to be one of the best overtakes of the season, and he's made it work. And now we're going to watch a replay of exactly how Ricciardo got past Bottas, because here he is. He's on the back of Bottas after getting overtaken on the straight. And he's again a bit too far back to do anything. But look at that. He's very close to him. He nearly goes into the back of him through turn 4. And there he is down the inside going to Ricciardo. No, he doesn't. It looked like he was going to go for it, but he's a bit too far back. And there he goes. Now he gets a way better exit. But he's still side by side. Bottas uses power advantage, but he has to go defensive into the corner. Looked like they might have made a bit of contact there, because here goes Daniel Ricciardo round the outside of turn 9. What an overtake. I've never seen a car overtake into turn 9. But here comes Valtteri Bottas into turn 10. Late on the brakes goes Daniel Ricciardo. Can he hold Bottas off? Here comes Bottas round the outside. Can Bottas try some kind of switchback? No, he's going to go back around the outside. What a move into turn 11 for Valtteri Bottas. This is an incredible battle for 5th place. Only a 2-point difference, and they are putting everything on the line. And this could be brilliant for Sergio Perez, who could possibly pick up a 5th place if these two make contact. But Ricciardo doesn't get a great exit. He's going to have to use the DRS now to try and get past Bottas. Looks like he was a bit too far back, but as we look back here, Sainz with the broken front wing. He's got a massive train now. Look at how slow he's going. Is he going to pit? Is he going to pit? He is going to come into the pits, and that's horrible for Sainz in his home Grand Prix. But here comes Fernando Alonso now. He is going to use that advantage. They're going to go side by side down the straight. And they're going to go 3-1. Here comes Esteban Ocon. This would be a double overtake. Who's going to be the last late breakers? Is it going to be Alonso? It's going to be Esteban Ocon who goes around the outside. But Alonso's going to try to switch back. It's not quite going to work out. Incredible stuff from Esteban Ocon. A double overtake. Now that shows the true straight line speed of that car. But here comes Kevin Magnussen on the back of Nico Hülkenberg. He's looking left, right, and center. Hülkenberg has to go defensive. But it means he goes a bit wide into the next corner. That's going to give Magnussen a chance. Down the straight. Not quite. Here's Daniel Ricciardo. Again, he goes for it down the inside of turn 10. What a move from Ricciardo from a long way back, and Bottas actually backs off, as I think he thought there was going to be contact if he tried to switch back. And what a move from Ricciardo, he's flying now. Now he doesn't really have any chance of getting Max Verstappen, but he doesn't really have any chance of getting Max Verstappen, only a few laps left in this race after that crazy battle with Bottas, and actually, it does look like Bottas might have some chance at re-overtaking Ricciardo onto the straight as we look into the midfield battle. Nico Hülkenberg still defending from Kevin Magnussen. And as they go down the straight, it's Sergio Perez who's pulled away from his former teammate Nico Hülkenberg. But anyways, Nico Hülkenberg now needs to defend from Kevin Magnussen, who's going to use that Ferrari engine to get past him. He faces the inside, faces the outside, goes to the inside, and down the inside goes Kevin Magnussen to take P8 as he goes a little bit wide through turn 1, but he makes it work. Brilliant stuff from Kevin Magnussen. He was way down. He was like down P11, I think. And now he's overtaken both his teammate and both Renaults. Brilliant stuff from Kevin Magnussen. Carlos Sainz is down, and I believe last place Vettel is pulling away in the lead, but Hamilton is trying to close down that gap on Kimi. He does not want to finish down P3. That'll be a 10-point loss to his main rival, Sebastian Vettel. But here's Valtteri Bottas. He is still giving Ricciardo a good push. It looks like Ricciardo's tires may not have that advantage that they once had earlier in this race. And here goes Kevin Magnussen. He's holding off Nico Hülkenberg quite nicely there. Will Hülkenberg be able to get him back? We know how good that Renault is in that final sector. Will that mean that Hülkenberg can get the DRS and re-overtake K-Mag? Because look at how close he is. He's actually very close to Kevin Magnussen, giving it everything here. Nico Hülkenberg, he's had a very scruffy race after hitting his teammate, and that's just horrible, as Ocon and Alonso are battling too. And here comes Van Dorn round the outside of Grosjean. Grosjean was up in the points, and now he's fighting with Van Dorn. And a Sauber, I believe. That's horrible. As Ricciardo's pulling away from Bottas, but not by quite that much, but he's pulling away. Here's Nico Hülkenberg. He's still too far back to make a move on K-Mag. And yeah, Ricciardo keeping that gap nice to Bottas. He's still pulling away, but not quite that much, and looks like he's struggling a little bit here. Loses the back end on the curb, touches grasses. Max Verstappen is absolutely flying. He's caught up to Lewis Hamilton. And we know Max is quick at this track because he's done brilliantly here to catch up the back of Lewis Hamilton as Hamilton's pushing to catch Kimi. Alonso still trying to find a way past Esteban Ocon. You can just see these midfield cars just carry way less speed through some of these corners, as their chassis and aero just isn't up to spec with the top teams. Here comes Sebastian Vettel across the line. I believe they are starting the final lap now. And Vettel looks like is very comfortable to take the win here. Here comes Bottas. He's no longer in the DRS, so any chance at overtaking Ricciardo on this final lap is pretty much gone. Magnussen pushing through there. He's trying to keep Nico Hülkenberg behind to bring home a very nice P8 for the Haas team. They're doing much better this season compared to at this point last season. Has to be said, the McLarens I think might have been expecting a little bit more than what they are getting with that Renault engine. Because look at the Red Bulls, they are fighting the Mercedes here. Verstappen trying to catch up to Lewis and Ricciardo overtaking Bottas. But now we see the McLarens can't even beat Force Indias. So which also have the Mercedes engine. Magnussen holding that gap nicely. Looks like the real excitement of this race may have died down a little bit, but Alonso's still on the back of Ocon. He's still going to try and get past him, but that McLaren just is so slow in a straight line that it's going to be a huge challenge to overtake Ocon. It's the slowest car in a straight line versus the fastest car in a straight line. Here comes Sebastian Vettel to win the Spanish Grand Prix, and it's going to be a Ferrari one too, as Kimi Raikkonen comes over P2 and Hamilton comes home in P3. Verstappen just loses out in P4 with Ricciardo in P5, and Bottas rounding off the top 6 here in Spain. And what a race this was.